Yeah, my mom's gorgeous. Well, let me introduce you to my mom, called Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
The silence was loud. For weeks, maybe even months, people waited. They watched clips, they replayed interviews, they argued online. They took sides without hearing from the one person everyone believed had the most to say.
When I said Diddy mother might be the originator of the freak-offs. All right, so tomorrow Peacock is dropping. According to the Rolling Stone, the doc features an alleged childhood friend of Puff's, hip-hop producer Tim Dog Patterson. He alleged that Janice, Diddy's mom, would often throw parties at Diddy's childhood home. He says that during the parties, it wasn't uncommon to walk into rooms where adults was having sex. I mean, that was just their normal. And the doc, when talking about the parties, Tim says, verbatim, "That's what we were privy to. This was what we were fed. Was it the same?"
And then, out of nowhere, it finally happened. Diddy's mother spoke. Not in a whisper, not through a leak, but in her own words. And the moment her statement hit the internet, the energy shifted fast. Because this wasn't just about a documentary anymore.
Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs trying to stop the release of a Netflix docuseries due out today.
We have to find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business.
The series contains never-before-seen footage of Combs debating strategy with his lawyers in the days leading up to his arrest in New York last year.
I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution.
It also includes video of Combs greeting fans in Harlem.
I'll accept it.
And then saying this about the interaction moments later.
I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on. I got it. I've been out in the streets amongst the people. Yeah, I gotta take a bath. Like the amount of people that actually I'm coming in contact with, like that's what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? Oh. It's like 150 hugs.
This was about a family under fire, a legacy on the brink, and a battle that had turned deeply personal. What nobody expected was how quickly 50 Cent responded, almost like he had been waiting for this exact moment. The gloves came off, and suddenly the story wasn't just about Diddy's past. It was about who controls the truth, who gets protected, and who gets exposed when the cameras won't stop rolling.
Combs' lawyers are demanding Netflix pull the series, threatening legal action, claiming Netflix is using stolen footage that was never authorized for release as part of what they call a shameful hit piece. The series is executive produced by Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alex Stapleton, who said, quote, "We obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights," end quote. Before the cease and desist demand was sent yesterday, Stapleton and Jackson sat down with our Robin Roberts to discuss the series.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
It's not personal.
The show is not completely the perspectives of people that did not like Sean. Not everyone needed to have an allegation to be a part of.
Diddy's story didn't start with luxury cars or platinum records. Long before the fame, there was struggle. He grew up watching his mother work, hustle, and survive in a world that wasn't kind or forgiving. After his father's death, the weight of the household fell on her shoulders. Friends from that time describe her as strong, sharp, and determined. She wasn't soft. She didn't have the luxury to be.
Combs' sons Justin and Christian are teasing a new docuseries about their family. Justin and Christian King Combs appear in a new trailer released December 28th to Instagram by Zeus Network's founder. In the trailer, Justin and Christian sit on a couch in a screening room while a series of headlines about their father cycle on screen. At the end of the trailer, Justin's phone vibrates and he answers a collect call from the Fort Dix Federal Correctional Institute, where Combs is currently behind bars. No release date for the docuseries is given, though the teaser says viewers can expect it at some point in 2026. Combs shares Justin with ex-Misa Hilton and Christian with the late Kim Porter. The rapper is also dad to 34-year-old son Quincy and daughters Chance, 19, twins Delilah and Jesse, also 19, and Love, who is 3 years old. Combs was transferred to Fort Dix from the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York in late October after he was sentenced to 50 months in prison on prostitution-related conviction.
Raising a child in that environment meant making hard choices, sometimes with consequences no one could predict. Diddy often spoke about how his mother pushed him, how she demanded excellence, how she refused to let him see himself as small. To him, she was a warrior. To outsiders, she was a mystery.
She came out defending her son, man. How you feel about that? She made a comment saying that he's not a monster.
I guess this is my newfound career, so I'm gonna say what's on my mind and what I think, brother. First of all, that's his mother. Wrong, right, or indifferent, she gonna lie, steal, kill, and protect her child. That's what she's supposed to do. But the apple don't fall far from the tree, man. You gotta realize that. You know, he didn't get all this from his daddy, because he didn't know his daddy, even though they try to say his daddy was some big time drug dealer in the whole 9 yards. You understand? He didn't get this from his daddy. You gotta realize, man, you know, his mother had a modeling agency, and it was alleged that it was also Ladies of the Night, a prostitution ring too, or these ladies was doing things other than model. This man was talking about that his mother could take her palms and bend over and put them down on the floor. Not bend over, but she could stand straight up and put her palms on the floor, bruh. He's saying that about his mother. Who describes any of their mother action like that in a sexual way? And then, you know, I don't know how many dudes do kiss their mother in their mouth when they 50, 60 years old or something like that. That's them, that's their whole thing, man. But that was a little kind of weird for me. And then his mother wore the same white fingernail polish that Cassie described that he liked to see her and other models in when she was describing her lawsuit. And what's crazy to me is that, man, it seemed like him and his mother had this, I don't want to get too deep, man, this Oedipus complex.
And as Diddy rose through the music industry, that mystery followed him. People noticed how close they were, how involved she remained, how often her name came up behind the scenes. It wasn't unusual in Black families for mothers to stay close to their sons, especially when success comes fast. But over time, whispers began to grow louder. And when the documentary dropped, those whispers turned into full-blown accusations.
Bad boy. You think it's Diddy, it's Janice Combs. Janice Combs is bad boy. Man, you don't actually sign to Diddy. His name is on a dotted line, but you actually sign it to Janice Combs.
Did he ever tell you why that is, or do you understand?
Oh, now that I'm older, I know exactly what it is. It's a paper trail, so nothing can come bite me. If you come for me, you ain't coming for me. I ain't got nothing. You going to my mama.
The documentary didn't ease into controversy. It jumped straight into uncomfortable territory. Childhood memories, private family moments, claims from people who said they were there.
For the situation where they say he was trying to shape Misa into his mother, can you see that? Like,
yeah, with the blonde hair and yeah, and all of that. I mean, somebody
really
asked a question: what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same kind of man who seems to have accurate knowledge that his elderly mother can put both of her hands, her palms, on the floor and while she's standing up, bent over.
Oh damn, I ain't seen that one. Oh.
You never seen the Instagram video when he was talking about how his mom is still young and spry and how she still liked to party and how they was getting a IV drip?
Oh. Damn.
And she was kissing him in the mouth on the video when he was like, yeah, my mom can bend over and touch the floor with her palms.
No.
It's a very, very, very weird relationship. It's weird.
Allegations about influence, control, and exposure to adult worlds far too early. Viewers were shocked. Some felt sick, others felt angry, and many asked the same question over and over again. Where is his mother in all of this? Why hasn't she said anything?
And again, I know the freak offs that his son is there. Like, it seems like he likes to get down with his kids.
Yeah. But that wasn't all. Just to hear Little Rod say, like, the boys were around. Roger Bonds talked about the children as well. What kind of parenting relationship is that? But then again, that goes back to the conversation of Lori Harvey, Steve Harvey's daughter. It was all known that she was spotted in them streets with Justin, and then she was spotted in them streets with Diddy, and they all tried to sit there and pretend like that wasn't what it was. Like, I don't know if anybody has not noticed, but ever since Diddy got pinched, they've all been trying to pretend like all of the stuff that we've seen that happened, that they was all involved in, didn't happen.
The silence became its own kind of statement. Critics took it as guilt, supporters saw it as dignity. But behind closed doors, the pressure was building. Every headline dragged her name deeper into the mess. Every reaction video turned her into a villain without giving her a voice. According to people close to the family, she was devastated, not just because of the accusations, but because of how easily the world was willing to believe them. Then came her response.
So why you believe she knew about the freak-offs?
Because one of the witnesses said she was there. And do you remember this, bro? Check it out. People tell off on themselves so much, man, and I don't understand when people don't catch it. Diddy has said this. He said, when I give a party, I have to have an ambulance outside of the house. Paramedics ready. That people have to take IVs. Remember the time that him and his mama kissed each other on the lips?
Yeah, I remember that video.
Do you remember that both of them was getting an IV at the same time?
Yeah, I did notice that, yep.
That's from the Diddy freak off party. And I'm gonna say allegedly.
So let me ask you this. You knowing her at one point, you knowing her personally, is she the kind of person that, you know, would be a part of a freak off or no?
I think that she liked to party, and she partied with young people. She's always been like that. She always copied or emulated Lil' Kim and Mary J. Blige, or they emulated her. The blonde hair, the nails, the high boots, the age-appropriate, inappropriate clothes.
Calm on the surface, but heavy with emotion. She denied the claims outright, called them lies, said the documentary twisted moments, exaggerated behavior, and turned pain into profit. She spoke about being a mother who did the best she could with what she had, about protecting her child in a dangerous world, about watching her son become a target because of his success.
How you feel about, you know, her? I mean, they alleging that she was, you know, having freak-offs.
I spoke to a man, Mr. Brown, who used to go to the freak-offs. And this guy lives in Georgia right now. And he told me that he was a stick-up kid back in the day. And one time he had robbed one of their spots. And he went back and he had got the money and gave them their money back and everything like that. And he knew Miss Combs and he knew about her and her freak-offs and everything like that. We had always thought that she had a modeling agency, but it wasn't a modeling agency. It was more of a brothel that she ran for high-profile drug dealers and athletes. You could tell by I could tell that Miss Combs at the time, and actually saw her, like young guys. She came at me a couple of times back in my heyday, you know, before the extra 75 pounds back then. And the reason I left Bad Boy wasn't only because of her advances. It was because I got tired of a lot of the bullshit.
She made it clear that she felt attacked, disrespected, and misrepresented. And for a brief moment, some people paused. They listened. They wondered if maybe the documentary had gone too far.
A relationship, whether it's physical or mental, with a mother and a son. So I'm looking at his mother and him on the couch, and both of them are getting IVs after one of the Diddy parties. Allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly because I wasn't there and I didn't know, but they showed them both getting IVs on the couch. So my whole thing about this thing is that I'm not saying that she was ever at a freak off, she was ever at that type of party, but you can't tell me Miss Janice Combs, who was always at the regular parties, didn't know nothing about the freak off party.
But that pause didn't last long, because almost immediately 50 Cent fired back. He didn't hold back, not even a little. He questioned why she was speaking now instead of earlier. He hinted that the timing was strategic, not emotional. He suggested that if the claims were truly false, legal action would have already been taken. His words were sharp, sarcastic, and calculated.
I was at City College. You understand? I was there. I was doing security. My team was supposed to have the outside. Puff came to me the day before we were supposed to do the job there and told me that Heavy D didn't want us to do the security outside. I had 18 men ready to do the security outside with my dogs, like I always do. People knew how we used to roll. We would have the pits, the Rottweilers, you understand? You know, we had that outside locked up. So anybody try to bum rush, anybody do that, we had the gates, the whole 9 yards. So we could stop all that. You know how people gonna get down in Harlem. You understand? So, and then when you got LL Cool J, you got Mike Tyson coming through there, and they coming through the front door so people see them. So they gonna go crazy. LL was the hottest thing out at that time. Mike Tyson was the hottest thing out at that time. They got all kinds of stars and people in there already. They was coming through the back. They came through the front. And it caused the door to be bum rushed. But if they had the gates up, if they had the dogs, and with the help of the police, that shit would have never happened, bro. That shit would have never happened. I was there, I saw it. I saw Jessica run down the steps after she grabbed the money box because my man Eddie was protecting her. And Eddie's the one called me on the walkie-talkie and said, yo, Jessica just locked me in outside the gym, Gene. You couldn't go down the steps after they bum rushed the door. You understand? I had to run around the whole gym on the outside, around the gym, down the steps, run across the basketball court, and open the front door. When I opened that one door, because it pushed inside, people start squeezing through that. Then I just kept doing the doors, and people was coming in there, falling dead, right out, just falling out right there. And once they got in there, they just fell out. It was crazy, bro.
He reminded the public that documentaries don't just appear out of thin air. They are built on interviews, footage, and years of research. He implied that the truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how uncomfortable it is.
Combs is speaking out about the Netflix documentary, Sean Combs' The Reckoning. In a statement to Deadline, she said, "These inaccuracies regarding my son Sean's upbringing and family life are intentionally done to mislead viewers and to further harm our reputation." She also maintains she was not an abusive parent and says that Diddy never slapped her, as previously stated in the document.
And just like that, the internet exploded again.
9 people died, dozens of others were injured, and there were no criminal charges that were ever filed against anyone for the stampede, but multiple families and injured victims, they filed lawsuits.
Supporters of Diddy's mother accused 50 of bullying an elderly woman. His fans praised him for standing firm and refusing to back down.
As being as expected, 50 Cent caught wind of it hitting the news, hitting the blogs, it being on the timeline yesterday that Diddy's sons, Sean and Justin, will be dropping a docuseries of their own to tell their side of the story, their experiences, and how they view things on the Zeus Network. Well, 50 Cent put it up on his Instagram page, and he promoted the trailer when you look at it from the other side of it, on the marketing side, but he knows it plays back into the doc that he just dropped as well with the record, and he put it up and said, wow, I want to see this show. I'm not sure this was a good idea. And he tagged at 50 Cent Action, letting it be known that this is really promo.
The fight shifted from facts to feelings, from evidence to loyalty. But here's the twist. This wasn't just about defending a documentary. It was about power, control over narrative, control over history. For decades, Diddy built an empire that shaped culture. He decided who got signed, who got shelved, and who got silenced. Now, for the first time, he was on the other side of that control, and his mother, whether she wanted to or not, was standing in the center of the storm. Insiders claim the family felt betrayed. They believed personal moments were weaponized. They felt exposed in a way fame never prepared them for. On the other hand, people involved in the documentary insisted they were simply telling stories that had been hidden for too long. As more clips surfaced, the conversation grew darker. Discussions about trauma, about cycles, about how childhood environments shape adult behavior. Some viewers began connecting dots between what was alleged in the documentary and the scandals that later surrounded Diddy's career. Others pushed back, saying success doesn't erase accountability, but allegations still need proof. Through it all, Diddy remained mostly silent, letting lawyers and statements do the talking. His mother's voice, however, cracked something open. It forced people to look at her not just as a character in a story, but as a real person watching her life get rewritten by strangers. The emotional toll was impossible to ignore. Friends say she felt humiliated, that she stopped going out, that she watched her sons suffer while feeling blamed for everything that went wrong. Mothers everywhere saw themselves in her pain. The fear of being judged, the fear of failing your child, the fear that one day the world might decide your sacrifices weren't enough. At the same time, survivors of childhood trauma felt triggered. They saw patterns they recognized. They heard stories that echoed their own. And that's what made this so explosive. It wasn't just celebrity gossip. It touched deep wounds on both sides. 50 Cent's continued commentary kept the fire burning. Every post, every joke, every reaction video felt like another jab. He framed himself as someone exposing truth, not attacking family. But critics argued that his approach lacked compassion. They asked why entertainment always seems to profit from pain, why documentaries rarely offer healing, only shock. Still, the views kept climbing, the conversation kept spreading, and the lines between truth, perception, and performance blurred even more. What makes this moment so powerful is how it forces a bigger question. Who gets to tell your story when you're famous? Do you lose ownership of your past once the public decides it's interesting? Diddy's mother tried to reclaim that ownership with her statement. 50 Cent challenged it by refusing to accept her version without scrutiny. And the audience was left in the middle, trying to sort through emotions, loyalty, and limited facts. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. This isn't over. More footage is rumored to exist. More voices are waiting to speak. Legal moves may still come. And the relationship between mother and son will forever be viewed through a different lens. Whether the allegations are proven or disproven, the damage to their peace has already been done. Fame didn't protect them, money didn't shield them, and silence only delayed the impact. In the end, this story isn't just about a documentary or a clapback. It's about how fast narratives can turn people into symbols instead of humans. It's about the cost of success and the price families pay when the spotlight refuses to move on. Diddy's mother broke her silence hoping to defend her name and her child. 50 Cent responded to defend his work and his stance, and the world watched, judged, and chose sides in real time. The truth may still be unfolding, but one lesson already stands out. When history gets rewritten in front of millions, no one walks away untouched. And as more chapters get revealed, the question remains, are we watching justice unfold, or just another family being torn apart for entertainment? Either way, the story is far from finished.